एवरीवन, आज हम करेंगे द वेस्टलैंड 2। वेस्टलैंड जो 46 यूनिट है इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन पार्ट करेंगे और ये पार्ट 2 है मेरे वीडियो का। ओके, इंटरप्रिटेशन। द टाइटल ऑफ दिस पार्ट ऑफ द वेस्टलैंड इज derived फ्रॉम द सर्विस फॉर द burial ऑफ द डेड in the Church of England as given in the Book of Common Prayer. Now, just wait. Let us caution you at the very outset. ये बोल रहे हैं कि हम आपको पहले ही आगाह कर देते हैं कि for a full understanding of this poem, you require some knowledge of English Bible, which is not compulsory but still desirable. हाँ, ये तो है ही कि इंग्लिश बाइबल की नॉलेज होना बड़ा ज़रूरी है इस वाले पार्ट को समझने के लिए। चलो देखते हैं हम कितना इसको समझ पाते हैं। Line 1 to 7. In these lines, Eliot overturned, subverts means overturn, the traditional view of spring as a season of joy and merriment. He deliberately provides an ironic contrast to the glad opening of the Geoffrey Chaucer's general prologue to the Canterbury Tales. अब जो चॉसर्स उन्होंने लिखी थी ना कैंटरबरी टेल्स, तो उसमें बड़ा खुश होकर उन्होंने लिखा था कि अप्रैल को बहुत अच्छा माना था, लेकिन इसमें टी.एस. एलियट ने बोला है अप्रैल इज़ द क्रूएलेस्ट मंथ। ठीक है, उल्टा है इसमें बोला। टू एलियट अप्रैल इज़ क्रूअल for being the time of Good Friday, when Christ was crucified on Calvary Hill on the outskirts of Jerusalem. Yet he hints at the revival of life in the wasteland through the welcome image of flowers growing out of the barren earth. The April rain revives memory and desire equally in human beings and plants. Winter ironically keeps people warm since the vegetation continues to live in the warm underground while the surface is cold with snow. ऊपर तो स्नो रहता है ना सरफेस पे, लेकिन अंदर जो है वार्मथ होती है। उसके बाद जब उसमें थोड़ी गर्मी अप्रैल आ जाता है ना, तो सैपलिंग्स फूटना शुरू हो जाती हैं, नए नए पत्ते आते हैं। द image of a little life in dry roots is a reminder of the idea of death in life. Now, line 8 to 11. There is a reference to a shower of rain that perhaps soaked the poet and his group of tourists while boating on a lake near Munich in August 1911. When the sunlight returned, they went into a public park where they had some coffee. Now, line 12 to 18. The details of this passage are perhaps taken from My Past. My Past क्या है? An autobiographical work by Countess Mary Larrick, a relation of the Austrian Empress Elizabeth. उनकी रिलेटिव हैं काउंटेस, उन्होंने लिखी थी ये माई पास्ट। नाउ वेलरी एलियट, जो उनकी वाइफ थी, द पोइट्स सेकेंड वाइफ, राइट्स दैट एलियट मेट द काउंटेस समवेयर एंड दैट हिज डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द स्लेजिंग मीन्स होता है गाड़ी जो होती है ना, जो कि बर्फ़ में चलती हैं, स्लेडिंग एपिसोड comes from a conversation he had with her. This passage evokes a picture of the decadence or corruption of contemporary European aristocracy. कितनी करप्ट थी मतलब उस टाइम पे ये बताया गया है। The only place where Mary feels free is in the mountains. Just to impress Eliot, she informs him that the Archduke is her cousin. She is an intellectual since she reads at night, and also she goes to the warmer south of Europe, means France, Spain, Italy in winters, where it is very cold in Austria. When it is very cold, जब बहुत ठंडी होती है ना, तो वो इन कंट्रीज़ में चली जाती हैं, वो ये बता रही हैं। Now line 19 to 24. Here Eliot uses images from a passage in the Bible, Book of Job, ठीक है, where there is a mention of roots wrapped about a heap of stones. Son of Man is the Jewish prophet Ezekiel, who is sent on a mission to preach God's words to the unbelieving people of Israel. The preacher reminds people of the vanity of life and stresses the importance of remembering God in the youth before the dissolution of old age set in. सैडनेस, जब मतलब इससे पहले कि बुढ़ापे में जो उदासीनता आती है ना, उससे पहले वो भगवान को याद कर लेंगे, ये बता रहे हैं अपनी यंग एज में. इट इज़ अगेन अ रेफरेंस टू द बाइबल. Ecclesiastes, the dry stone that gives no sound of water, is a recurring image of death in life in the wasteland. है ना, डेथ इन लाइफ की ही बात की गई है ज़्यादातर. Now lines 25 to 30. These lines are virtual repetition of a passage in an early poem of Eliot, The Death of Saint Narcissus, which early poem थी इनकी ना, The Death of Saint Narcissus, which he probably wrote in 1915. The various biblical echoes in these lines are of वेरियस इकोज जो है वो अभी आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड, मतलब आई डोंट थिंक कि मैं इसको अच्छे से प्रोनाउंस कर पाऊँगी, फिर भी मैं करूँगी. फिर मैं स्पेलिंग बताती हूँ. ISAIAH, ईसाइया, कुछ ऐसा ही है ये, है ना, इको हो रहा है ये वर्ड बार बार. Christ is described as a spiritual rock in the Bible, and those who did not believe in him were overthrown in the desert. The shadow of the rock provides no solace, no comfort in the wasteland, but reminds us of mortality, certain death, मतलब mortality. ठीक है. The last line in this passage is a reminder of the fear of death, of which dust is a symbol, as the body inside the grave turns into dust after death. This passage supplements the previously expressed idea that the European society is decayed and disintegrated. The voice of the biblical prophet is only one of the many in Eliot's poem that comments on the barrenness of the wasteland. Now line 31 to 42 हम करेंगे. In Greek mythology, a youth named Hyacinth was killed in an accident, and a flower grew out of his blood. The flowers in this passage evoke feelings of sadness, sympathy, and desire. The lines record the recollection of a passionately intense moment of romantic lives. There is sad memory of the remembered joy with a feeling of irreversible loss. To express his view forcefully, Eliot quotes from Tristan and Isolde, an opera of the German poet Wagner. ठीक है, वैगनर पोएट थे जर्मन, उन्होंने ओपेरा लिखा था, उसमें कि ट्रिस्टन एंड इजोल्ड थे. ठीक है. Thereby he suggests not only the desolate state in his own poem, but also a correspondence between the situation in the opera and that in the wasteland. Eliot's use of the quotation heightens the general effect of desolation in the poem. अब हम कर रहे हैं लाइन 43 to 59. Here Eliot satirizes, मजाक बनाते हैं, satire करते हैं, the dabbling means dipping in matters spiritual by the society ladies of his time. Ironically, he ridicules the practice of fortune telling through the tarot pack of cards, which were the first playing cards made in Italy in the early 14th century. It should be noted that Madame Sosostris, the society clairvoyante, means बताने वाली, भविष्य बताने वाली, that she has no knowledge of any spiritual matters. Hence, she cannot find in the pack the hanged man whom Eliot associates with the hooded figure of Christ. She herself does not fully understand what she sees. The Phoenician sailor was a kind of fertility god whose image was every year thrown into the sea as a symbol of the death of summer. As per tradition, he was later reclaimed, and his resurrection means the return of new life in spring. In section 4, a figure he figures as Phlebas, representing not resurrection but morality of mankind. Actually, there is on drowned sailor's picture in the tarot pack of cards. The line, जैसे कि line लिखी गई है, those are pearls that were his eyes, is a quotation from Ariel's song in the Tempest of Shakespeare. Belladonna, the lady of the rocks, is the image of a beautiful and seductive woman who could be a source of threat to the narrator of the wasteland. She reminds us of the vampire like figure of Mona Lisa as described by Walter Peter, the Victorian critic, in his essay on Leonardo da Vinci, the Italian painter, in the collection entitled The Renaissance. The man with three staves means sticks. A figure in the tarot pack is associated by Eliot with the Fisher King. The Wheel of Fortune, another card, reflects the cyclic reversal of fortune in life. The one-eyed merchant is a fool in the pack and also linked with Mr. Eugenes. ठीक है, Eugenides. Eugenides. The merchant from ये है Smyrna. ठीक है, but there is no blank card in the tarot pack. This is a deliberate mystification introduced here by the poet. The hanged man could be an allusion to Christ on the cross. Mrs. Equitone is obviously a client of Madame Sosostris. The name carries on ironic connotation. Connotations means hidden meaning. Now line 60 to 67 हम कर रहे हैं. Line 60 to 76. Eliot himself, in his notes to the poem, refers to a poem about Paris by the French poet Baudelaire. ये हमने बहुत बार नाम मैंने बोला है अभी, है ना. It is about a swarming city full of dreams. In colder climes like that of London, Paris, New York, Moscow and Srinagar in Kashmir, the winter fog is thick in the sub-zero temperatures of December and January. The people on their way to work pass on surrounded by the thick brown fog. Eliot visualizes such a scene of people flowing over London Bridge. The exhalation of sighs from the crowd of passing humanity, recalling a similar passage in Dante's Inferno, is an image of the tragedy of human world. The crowd, reminiscent of the damned souls in hell. The crowd is जो कि याद दिला रहा है souls की hell में. The crowd is of the workers on their way to the city district of London, the financial nerve center of that metropolis, of which King William Street is a part. St. Mary Woolnoth is a church in that very street. In the 1920, 9 o'clock in the morning was the usual starting time for the workers in the city. Now, Stetson, just a name, doesn't refer to anyone in particular. He could be any senior bank clerk in a bowler hat. The reference to the battle at MYLEA Myli, ये है Myli city, an ancient city on the coast of Sicily in 260 BC, is a comment on the continuity of the past and present. The old battle and the first World War in Eliot's own time. The corpse could be a forgotten memory or the self buried in the surrounding life. The familiar idea of the dog being a friend of man, being a friend to man, is juxtaposed with the image of the dog in the Old Testament. At the end of this passage, Eliot refers to the introductory prefatory होता है introductory poem of Baudelaire, ये Baudelaire's Fleur du Mal. Fleur du Mal means flowers of evil. The quotation is from A.U. Lecture to the reader, है ना. O hypocrite reader, my fellow man, my brother. Eliot, by reference to Baudelaire, compels the reader to confront the vice of boredom or spiritual emptiness in order to realize how he himself is situated. After going through the wasteland, the reader shares with the poet a state of deep spiritual emptiness, something that the poem projects, among several other things, as indicated in the earlier unit on T.S. Eliot. चलो ये हो गया हमारा. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में जो कि पार्ट 3 होगा, वी आर गोइंग टू डू अ गेम ऑफ चेस. इसको हम करेंगे. चलो, थैंक यू सो मच. प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एंड शेयर माई वीडियो. थैंक यू सो मच.